The film opens with a scene of a child. This child's name is Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln lived with his parents in America. His parents were burdened by a heavy debt. As a result, they served their creditor to pay it off. That creditor's name was Jack. Jack was a stone-hearted man. He had no pity for anyone. Initially, he enslaved Black Americans and later sent them to their masters. Jack's master was named Adam. One day, Lincoln's father got into an argument with Jack while working. The dispute began because one of Jack's men had beaten Lincoln and his close friend. After the argument, Jack fired Lincoln's father. He also demanded that the debt be paid as soon as possible. "Pay your debt immediately," he ordered. Otherwise, Jack threatened to ruin Lincoln's father. Lincoln's father refused to pay because of the mistreatment. That same night, something unexpected happened. Lincoln's parents were asleep. Meanwhile, Lincoln noticed Jack inside their home. He saw Jack standing beside his mother. Lincoln realized that Jack had assaulted her. Then Jack suddenly disappeared. Lincoln's mother's condition worsened immediately after that night. The doctors struggled to diagnose her illness. They couldn't determine what disease she was suffering from. At first glance, her health appeared to be rapidly declining. Lincoln's mother begins to lose her breath. Suddenly, Lincoln's father realizes that Jack poisoned his wife to take revenge on him. Upon learning this, Lincoln flies into a rage toward Jack. But his father warns him, saying, "My son, you must not take any action against him." The story then jumps ahead 9 years. By this time, Lincoln's father has also passed away. Lincoln is now a grown man. With his father gone, Lincoln decides it's time to kill Jack to avenge his mother's death. Lincoln travels to Jack's location. When he arrives, he fires his gun at Jack. Shockingly, Jack is unharmed, even though Lincoln hits his target. Even more disturbing, Jack's face has transformed into something horrific. Then Jack attacks Lincoln. In that moment, Lincoln realizes Jack isn't human. He's a vampire. Jack is about to kill Lincoln, fully transformed into a vampire, when suddenly a man appears and saves Lincoln's life. This man takes Lincoln back to his home and introduces himself as Henry. He tells Lincoln, "My name is Henry. I'm a vampire hunter. I also train people to hunt vampires." Henry explains to Lincoln that vampires are not just fictional, they are real. Then he offers to train Lincoln to become a vampire hunter. Henry says, "Work with me, and I promise I will train you completely to face vampires, so you can destroy Jack and others like him." Hearing all of this, Lincoln agrees to Henry's offer. He accepts the path of becoming a vampire hunter because he is determined to avenge his mother's death. During the training, Henry teaches Lincoln about the nature of vampires. One of the things he reveals is that vampires cannot be seen in mirrors. The greatest weakness of vampires is silver. This means that vampires can be killed using this chemical element. Henry also informs Lincoln about the leader of the vampires, named Adam. Adam is the master of the vampires, and he also has a vampire sister. Henry explains that these siblings began turning Americans into vampires.
They first took control of the southern states. Now they aim to expand into the northern states as well. Their ultimate goal is to dominate all of America with their vampire army. With vampires spreading across the country, more vampire hunters are desperately needed to protect humanity and eliminate this growing threat. After Lincoln completes his intense training, Henry sends him to a city. There, Lincoln befriends a local shopkeeper who offers him a place to stay and hires him to work at his shop. Lincoln begins sending letters to Henry, reporting information about vampires so he can help track and eliminate them. Lincoln settles into a daily routine, working at the shop during the day and hunting vampires at night. During this time, he meets a young woman. They start spending more and more time together and gradually develop feelings for one another. As time goes on, one day, Henry visits Lincoln in person. He gives Lincoln a silver pocket watch as a gift. During the visit, Henry warns him, "Jack knows about you and the girl you're seeing. Lincoln was the one who killed Jack." He recognizes the silver pocket watch as belonging to Lincoln, which confirms his suspicion. Realizing that Lincoln is now a serious threat, Adam becomes furious and begins planning his revenge. Before this, Henry had already warned Lincoln that his relationship with Mary had put her in danger. Now that Jack is dead, the danger has grown even more. Henry had granted Lincoln permission to kill Jack in order to protect Mary's life. Lincoln confronts Jack, and the two engage in a fierce battle. Eventually, Lincoln defeats and kills Jack. But before dying, Jack reveals a shocking truth. Henry is not what he seems. He too is a vampire. After Jack's death, Henry finally admits the truth to Lincoln. He explains that some time ago, the vampire master Adam had bitten both him and his wife. As a result, Henry was turned into a vampire while his wife died. But unlike Adam and the others, Henry rejected the evil path. Henry also reveals a critical fact. One vampire cannot kill another. Vampires are immortal when facing their own kind. That's why Henry has been training humans to become vampire hunters, hoping that one of them might be strong enough to kill Adam and end the vampire threat once and for all. Learning the truth about Henry deeply troubles Lincoln. He feels betrayed and heartbroken. His trust is shaken, and his hope begins to fade. He even considers abandoning his mission to hunt vampires and avenge his mother's death. Meanwhile, Adam, the powerful vampire leader, discovers Jack's lifeless body. In Jack's hand, he finds Lincoln's silver pocket watch. This small but clear sign reveals everything. Lincoln was the one responsible for Jack's death. And now Adam is coming for him.
In retaliation, Adam, the vampire leader, abducts Lincoln's closest friend to lure him out. He knows Lincoln will come to rescue him. Adam sends a direct threat, demanding Lincoln come to face him. The shopkeeper and Lincoln head to Adam's hall to save their captured friend. When they arrive, they witness a horrific scene. Adam and his vampires are feeding on Black Americans. At that moment, Lincoln bursts in and begins slaying Adam's vampire followers one by one. But during the chaos, Adam manages to capture Lincoln. He tries to manipulate him, offering a chance to join their side and destroy Henry's team. Lincoln boldly refuses. Enraged, Adam moves to kill Lincoln's friend right in front of him. However, the shopkeeper intervenes, saving both Lincoln and his friend just in time. The three of them manage to escape the vampire hall together. Time passes, and Lincoln eventually marries Mary, the woman he had fallen in love with. He then steps into politics, joining a party that works to end slavery across America. Lincoln begins launching anti-slavery operations in various regions. Henry warns Lincoln of a dangerous consequence. Vampires feed on enslaved people. If slavery ends, the vampires will lose their main food source. This could drive them into uncontrollable rage, unleashing chaos on the world. But Lincoln refuses to be intimidated. He remains committed to his cause and continues fighting against slavery. Years later, Lincoln wins the election with overwhelming public support and becomes the President of the United States. He moves into the White House with his family and close friends. Soon after, the American Civil War erupts between the southern states and the northern states. As president, Lincoln issues a powerful order to abolish slavery, aiming to grant freedom to all enslaved people in both the South and the North. During this time, Adam's vampire sister attacks and bites Lincoln's son, leading to the boy's tragic death. Lincoln's wife is devastated and struggles to cope with the unbearable loss. Overcome by grief, she blames Lincoln for their son's death. Meanwhile, Adam escalates the conflict by sending his vampire army into the war.
As a result, American soldiers began dying in large numbers. Faced with the rising death toll, Lincoln recalls that vampires can only be killed with silver. He orders a national effort to collect all the silver from households across the country so it can be melted down and forged into weapons. However, the trusted shopkeeper betrays Lincoln. She secretly informs Adam that Lincoln plans to transport silver weapons to the military by train that very night. Adam sets out to stop the train, aiming to kill Lincoln and prevent the silver weapons from reaching the army, ensuring a vampire victory and domination over America. On their way to intercept the train, Adam and his vampires come across Lincoln's wife. Not wanting to delay, Adam leaves her behind and pushes forward. Soon after, Adam and his army launch an attack on the train carrying the weapons. Back on the train, Henry informs Lincoln of the betrayal. The shopkeeper was actually a spy for Adam and had leaked their plans. But then another truth is revealed. It was all part of Lincoln's strategy. He had intentionally leaked the false information to Adam to lure him into a trap. The real goal was to distract Adam and his army so the silver weapons could safely reach the military.
As the battle erupts on the moving train, Lincoln and his allies fight fiercely against the vampire army, taking them down one by one. Just then, Adam boards the train and throws Lincoln's friend off. As Lincoln rushes to save his friend, Adam attempts to bite him. At the critical moment, Henry appears and a fierce battle between Henry and Adam begins. Meanwhile, on another front, Adam's vampire sister sets the bridge on fire. The flames consume it quickly, and the structure begins to collapse. In the heat of battle, Adam realizes the devastating truth. There is no silver on the train. It was a decoy. The entire operation was a clever trap orchestrated by Lincoln to outsmart him. Enraged by the betrayal and the realization that he had been tricked, Adam turns on the shopkeeper and bites her in a fit of fury. In the midst of the chaos, Lincoln seizes his chance. Using his silver pocket watch, the same one gifted to him by Henry, he strikes and kills Adam, finally ending the reign of the vampire leader. Just before the train is destroyed in the collapsing, fire-damaged bridge, Lincoln and his friend manage to escape with the help of Henry. Meanwhile, Lincoln's wife and an African-American ally, one of the freed slaves, successfully deliver the silver weapons to the U.S. military through a hidden tunnel. But as they reach safety, they encounter Adam's vampire sister, who charges toward Lincoln's wife with deadly intent. In a powerful moment, Lincoln's wife draws a gun and loads it with their late son's silver chain. She fires at the vampire sister, killing her instantly. It's a deeply emotional and redemptive moment as the mother avenges her son's death. Soon after, the U.S. military arrives on the battlefield, now fully armed with silver weapons. With overwhelming force, they wipe out the remaining vampire army. The United States achieves victory, both in the war and against the supernatural threat. Lincoln and Henry return to the scene. Henry, impressed by Lincoln's strength and resolve, offers him immortality, inviting him to become a vampire so they can continue hunting any surviving vampires for eternity. He tempts Lincoln with the promise of power and eternal life, but Lincoln refuses. He chooses to remain human, embracing his mortality and humanity. He understands that his fight was never about power, but about justice, freedom, and love. In the film's final scene, Henry is shown once again. He approaches a new adult, repeating the same offer he once gave to Lincoln, an invitation to become a vampire hunter. The story ends there, hinting that the battle against evil continues, and so does the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter.